I think this is probably one of the few things that I want to do, mainly because I like to keep myself kind of certain parts of my life really private. But I done a poll on Instagram and I asked you guys whether you'd want to have an updated Q&A, you know, something a little bit more snazzy, or 10 things you didn't know about me, and so many of you said you wanted the 10 things you didn't know about me. So I thought I'd do them. Some of them are interesting, some of them some people might know, some of them you might have picked up in other Q&As or in vlogs or in conversations that I have on my story with family members. So here are 10 things that you did not know about. Okay, the first thing. Growing up, when my mum was at work, I was basically raised, taken to school, picked up from school, etc., by my gran, my granddad, my great-gran, and my great-granddad. In particular, my great-granddad and great-grandmother. And they're from Jamaica. So I, up until the age of, I'd say maybe about 4, or when I went to nursery and it was broken out of me, I could only speak Patois. I could speak with the Jamaican accent, and now, not a chance in hell. Like, it's not that I can't do the accent, but believe me, it's nowhere near as smooth and as believable as it was growing up. So up until I went to nursery and they were like, you will be speaking with a British accent, I only had a Jamaican accent. Okay, number 2. Oh, this one's so embarrassing. Okay, the first time I ever supported a football team, I intentionally picked the football team that a guy that I liked at the time supported. I was probably about 10, maybe 11, knew nothing about football, barely watched it, like was not really interested in it. That was more like my mum that was more into the sports and keeping up with football. I hated it. And this boy that I liked in school was obsessed with Manchester United, and then instantly I was like, me too. So I spent days and weeks Googling and searching and reading books on everything Manchester United to find out all this information, so that if he ever asked me if I was ever watching the game, or at any point anyone said, oh my god, what a coincidence, you both support them, I knew everything there was to know about them. And to this day, me and him don't talk, we never dated. Like, it was just pathetic, honestly. And I now no longer support Manchester United because, well, really I was a fake fan from the beginning. The third thing, which I think, depending on how intensely you watch my Instagram stories or how intensely you kind of have watched Q&As in the past, I have a tendency to get into kind of like a mood where I love to read, but I will only read non-fictional books. So I'll only read books that are based on true stories or are true and are factual and that I can learn from and read for decades on end. Like, I'm not really into like fantasy books. Every book I read is non-fiction. Number 4, tattoos and piercings have always been an obsession of mine, and if I wasn't in the field I was in, and if my mum wouldn't disown me, I would legitimately cover myself in tattoos. I would pierce so many different places. I've had quite a few piercings in the past anyway, but I would cover myself head to toe in tattoos and piercings. Going based off of what I just said about tattoos and piercings, I don't know how many people would know this, but I had both my tongue pierced and my nipples pierced. My tongue piercing didn't last very long because after a couple of days of having it, my mum made me drag it out because I was 16, and I just followed this girl that I loved off in my school, and she went to go and get her piercings done. So I was like, oh my god, I'm coming with you. And she basically convinced me to get my tongue pierced. Didn't last long. It was more painful to take out because my tongue was still swollen. Like, my mum didn't give it any time to heal. She was like, you'd taken that out now, than it actually was to pierce. And then my nipple piercings I had for almost 2 years, and I took them both out because I wanted to kind of have like a clean break in terms of like my piercings and my tattoos. When I took out all the piercings that I had, I then started getting tattoos. So I don't really know whether I actually got rid of anything, because instead of having holes in my body, I now have permanent ink. The next one is something that I feel like I've actually spoken about before. I'm sure I have. Like, everyone knows how inseparable I am with my cousins, especially my cousin Ashton. But growing up, I hated her. this isn't even really like a thing you didn't know about me, but in case you didn't, I hated her. She was like the baby in the family. So me and her older brother, who were born 6 months apart, bullied her for about basically her whole life, like up until the last couple of years. This is probably why I was then bullied in school for like 7 years. I was probably my karma for what I was doing to Ashton at home. But something you guys didn't know about me is when all of us got together as cousins, so me, Rashawn, our other cousins, and Ashton, she used to have a bunk bed in her house. And obviously we're 4 years older than her, so we would just climb on the top of the bunk bed and jump down and make it look easy. No, when she was very, very young, we were like, Ash, if you jump off the top of the bunk bed, you can fly. We convinced her to go up on the top bunk, stand on the edge of it, and jump off the bed. And I kid you not, she landed flat on her face and didn't move for about 10 minutes. We thought we'd killed her. So something you guys didn't know about me is that when I was younger, I was like a low-key bully to my little cousin, which she is now like my soulmate and best friend for life. So she's forgiven me. So because she's forgiven me, you guys should forgive me as well. I think this is number 7. Is this number 7? I think so. I am allergic to oranges and coconuts. Weirdest thing. So I can't have coconut milk, I can't have coconut water, little things like that. Hospital, tongue flares up, swells up, like can't breathe. Oranges do the same thing to me, except with oranges I'll like break out in hives, which is really weird. I thought it was citrus, but I'm okay with lemons. And then I can use things like coconut oil on my hair. So I don't really know where it comes from, but I have a really bad allergy to both coconut and oranges. Number 8, I think this is number 8. I'm really losing track of numbers, but other than my extreme fear of spiders, I have, and I don't know whether it's a fear, but it makes my skin crawl, but I have this weird fear, sickening, even thinking about it is giving me goosebumps, sensation of like holes in like the floor, or in like talking about it actually is giving me goosebumps, like I feel physically sick. It started from when I was in primary school or elementary school, wherever you're from, and we all were walking down the stairs single file, and I'll never forget this day because it literally traumatized me for life. We were walking single file down the stairs, and there was like in between where 2 walls met, there was like a crack down the middle. Like I'm actually getting goosebumps, like I feel sick. And it was just a weird thing that when we were like 6, 7 years old, we were like, everyone was just putting their finger in the holes that were in the walls. I chose to put my finger in one of the holes, and honestly feel sick. All I felt was cobwebs and something move. And ever since then, I can't, like everything about it makes me feel sick. Like if I see a hole in a plastic bag, I feel sick. Like if I see a crack in a wall, I feel sick. Like I just imagine like spiders crawling up. I'm actually covered in goosebumps. I can't. It is my biggest, I don't know if it's a phobia, I don't know what it is, but it makes me want to heave and vomit and cry and run away. So spiders and holes, no goes. Okay, I think this is number 9. I think I'm very, very bad at counting, clearly, which is gonna contradict my 10th one drastically. But I have always been more of a savory person than a sweet person. So something that people that don't know me wouldn't know about me is that my salt intake and the amount of salt that I eat in life is in gallons, in abundance. Like McDonald's salt their chips and I'll ask for extra salt sachets. Like I over season my food. Like I need salt, and this is like a confessional. My name is Jourdan Riane, and I'm obsessed with salt. Like obsessed. Like in school they used to do, what were they called? Oh my god, I think they were called shaken salt crisps. They were plain crisps in a white packet. I'm gonna insert a picture here. These. And they come in this tiny, tiny little blue salt packet, right? And I'd use it, finish all the crisps, and then, but all the salt would stay at the bottom. It always just stayed at the bottom. Me, I'd be licking all the salt out. That's how much I loved it. And that's how much I still love it. And I think it stems from my grandparents would give me things like cucumbers and tomatoes and salad. And from a young age, they would drown it in salt and pepper. And I feel like since then, my taste buds have adapted to it. And now I'm like, I can't live without it. But I am a salt addict. Number 10. I hope this is number 10, otherwise I've missed one out. I'm gonna double check. But growing up, I was always into the creative arts. I was always into drama, I'd done musical theatre, but something that I don't think people knew is that if that career failed, I wanted to get either into accountancy or child psychology. So in school, I studied, I can't even tell you how many GCSEs, but I'd done 6 A-levels in the end. I'd done my years at an all-girls grammar school, went to their 6th form, and then left and went to like a drama specialised kind of college, just to try something new. In total, I ended up studying 6 A-levels, and what I studied was maths and further maths, statistics and mechanics, English literature and language, psychology, drama and theatre, and film. And I literally would sit there and I was obsessed with film, passed all of them with flying colours, but deep down I was like, I think I want to get into either child psychology, because I became a little bit obsessed with like the mind and everything that I learned when I studied psychology, or accountancy, because well, I studied maths, further maths and statistics, which you probably don't even need to be an accountant anyway. But those are the things I wanted to do, and I feel like just in general most people didn't know about what I studied, and that my fallback career was actually those 2 things potentially. So yeah, those are 10 things that you guys definitely did not know about me. Hopefully they're a little bit interesting. Hopefully with some of the allergies or the phobias, I'm not alone, because it's really weird being allergic to things like coconut and oranges. Like, they just don't go hand in hand. It's not like being allergic to shellfish, which makes more sense in life. But hopefully they are amusing, if not anything else. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I'll be back soon if I have something more interesting to talk to you guys about. But yeah, thanks so much. Bye.